Us now, Dr. Ziv Cohen. Doctor, it's great to see you. I know we do have to start with a disclaimer that you obviously haven't treated Vladimir Putin. What is it that makes you get to this point here? What's he exhibiting that gets you to psychopath?
Well, I think, we just need to look at the behaviors that we see. So, without even saying definitively, I haven't examined him whether he's a psychopath, but we're seeing grandiosity. The man thinks that his destiny and Mother Russia are one and the same. We see aggression from the beginning of his career, wars in Chechnya, in Syria, in Georgia, now in Ukraine. We see lots of lies. One of your guests earlier said that everything that comes out of the Russian government is a lie. Manipulation, and we see tremendous lack of empathy. So when you look at what's going on in Ukraine with the targeting of civilians, and then you see triumphant images of Putin, that clearly points to lack of empathy. So if we have these characteristics that we're observing, then we think, well, what fits with that? And if we think of the model of someone who has psychopathic traits, then we're thinking of somebody that really sees the world in terms of power metrics, power dynamics, does not believe in rules, does not believe in conventional morality, and is really just sizing up opponents and trying to read out signs of weakness.
So how do you deal with someone like that?
Well, the way we do it in psychiatry is that we really aggressively confront that individual about their lies, their manipulation, their sadism, their cruelty. So you really have to call them out. You can't dither. You also can't wait to act. For example, when he was amassing his troops outside of Ukraine and we waited to impose sanctions only after the invasion began, and we had the president of Ukraine pleading, put the sanctions in now. It's clear what he's going to do. If you want to deter him, you have to show the strength ahead of time. And so I think when we follow rules and we follow what we think is the normal rules of international diplomacy, Putin is reading that as weakness. And we can see that he really feels like he has the West right where he wants us. People with psychopathic traits, they are calculating, they take their time, they plot their next move. And it seems like we're really seeing, the maestro here as he's putting his finishing touches on a plan, Europe dependent on oil and so forth. So I think that if we understand the personality we're dealing with, we're going to be a lot more confrontational.
Yeah, it's almost like he's the movie villain, right? I mean, that's what it seems like. As we all watch this, everyone's afraid of him for sure because they're not sure what he's going to do or what he might do. But the other thing I was wondering about is some people have thought that something's changed in him, doctor. And is this a trait that people always have, or can it present at different times? Does something touch it off?
Well, I think that, these are traits that tend to be stable over time in an individual. But what we can see is that people with these traits over time can become impulsive. So they tend to be, calculating and shrewd and play the long game. But over time, they can kind of wear down and become more impulsive. It's also possible that it's a function of age for him. He's 69 years old now. He has certain ambitions for himself. And so there is a sense that he's in a hurry now in a way that, maybe we didn't see in the past.
Do you worry, like many do, that to this point of what he might do, if we were to start a no-fly zone, he says that would be an act of war. Everyone thinks that would, touch off this conflict between the U.S. and Russia. And that might lead to nuclear war.
Well, and so that's a real fear. And, even a psychopath can be reckless and impulsive. But on the other hand, what psychopaths love to do is test your limits. And they push and they push and they push. And at some point, you have to push back. So, fortunately, I'm not in the position of having to make that decision. But I think it's clear that pushing back is going to be the only way to contain Putin. Trying to incentivize him. Previous administrations talked about a reset with Russia, common interests. How do we incentivize? Clearly, that's not the model of how Putin's mind works. He works about power.
Yeah, he's not listening, that's for sure. And he marches on. Dr. Ziv Cohen, great insight. We appreciate the time. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.